Okay, Isaac, you can go ahead and start.
Thanks, Lena. Hey, welcome everyone to the Collegiate Athletics presentation. My name is Isaac Sanches, and it seems like we're ready to go. So I'll go ahead and get started. First, a little bit about I was born and raised in Mexico City. I currently work for the University of the Incarnate Word as a club sports specialist. I finished my MBA not too long ago, and well, I was a student athlete myself, so I can speak firsthand about my experience with sports. It's quite different, the dynamic in the United States. So really this slide is just an opportunity for me to brag about my cool picture back when I used to be good in soccer. Here it is a quote that really resonates with me since I heard it, and it's from Nelson Mandela. He says that sports have the power to change the world, and I truly believe that that's something that I lived it myself. Sports made me a better person, and I just want to share my experience and share some of the opportunities you have available in the United States. Let's get started with the collegiate divisions. Under the collegiate sports format in the USA, we have the NCAA as probably the top league, where we have Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3. These are our most popular leagues, sort of say, and we compete at a really high level in those divisions. But there's also other options available, such as NAIA, the Junior College League, and club sports that we're going to talk about here in a minute. But regardless of where you're trying to get recruited and apply to the university, it's important that you keep in mind some key factors. And the very first one is to focus on your academics. That's the number one rule. You have to have good grades. Okay, you have to be realistic about your level of play as well. And I'm gonna show you how you can contact some coaches and what tools you can use to get recruited, to showcase your skills, and to have inquiries from coaches. My last 2 points are the following. Be proactive. We like students that are active, that are working ahead of time, submitting applications, asking support to their counselors, etc. So my last advice is apply, 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 come up with a list of options that you would like to apply for, and do your research and apply. First, let's discuss how you can introduce yourself to a coach. And I have some key points here for you to notice. First, you need to create that introduction email where it's really the first step for you to connect with the coaches. You'll need a quick description of where you play, what's your sport, what kind of experience you have had in your discipline. It's very important that you showcase that you're a good student. So please note that we have a GPA component here that's going to be really good and crucial, because let's face it, there's no full rights anymore in sports. Usually it's a combination of academic scholarship with an additional athletic scholarship. It's really hard for you to earn a full ride. So keep that in mind, and please focus on your academics, work on your grades, and also do your research about the athletic program. Let us know that you are in charge of, better say, on top of your research. You know all the details about the program. Make sure you get the coach's name right. Make sure you include your highlight reel video. That's going to be the first opportunity for you to showcase your skills. And honestly, that is the first tool you will need in order to get your foot in front of the door with these coaches. Here's just a template that you can use. You can take a screenshot. It's quite simple, but fairly useful. Now we touch on the highlight reel video, and here I'm putting you an example of what this might look like. Make sure you include your name, some stats, and very important to highlight some key actions during games or practices. Make sure you use identifiers during the video, like in this case when it will freeze the screen and make a little highlight for a coach to really know that you are the one with the ball or about to do an action shot, etc. So this is a really good example of how your video may look like. You don't need to be an expert on editing video. You can do it yourself. There's some very useful and user-friendly programs for you to work on this. But yeah, my advice is to start recording your games. Make sure you compile all your tapes, and this video should not be longer than 2-3 minutes. Okay, hopefully this helps. Now let's talk about some stats and the likelihood for students to join a NCAA program. And my first point is quite interesting. Little over 7% of high school athletes, about 1 in every 14 athletes that are already in varsity teams at high school, went on to play a varsity sport in college. So the margin is quite small. Now here, when we talk about Division I athletes, that number goes down to 1 in 54. That is less than 2% that will make the jump from high school into a Division I school. I have a cool graph here that shows how the margins of each sports work at the NCAA level. And we can see, for example, here that soccer has a 5.0% chance of jumping into an NCAA. Now let's talk about scholarships. What can I expect as a Division I athlete? Well, in average, Division I athletes receive $6,000 on academic scholarship. So that's why it's very important to focus on your academics. Usually, your school will cost between $25,000 to $45,000, even more. So this is just a small percentage of your total scholarship. Division II athletes, they're quite on the same area, and junior college receive almost $2,500 on academic scholarship. So just some stats to keep in mind. And now I want to present you about a new initiative that we have at the University of the Incarnate Word, and that is club sports. And this is more like a student organization that strives for nothing more than extracurricular engagement and physical and mental well-being. This is not as high commitment as a Division I program that we do have at the University of the Incarnate Word, but this kind of opens up the spectrum of where athletes can fit in. So if you are not quite yet at that elite level, club sports is a great option for you. And our goal is to democratize the collegiate sports experience. Back in the day, this was only available for a select few. Only elite athletes will experience what it feels like to wear a jersey and wear your university colors and go out and compete against other universities. Well, club sports will solve that, and in all honesty, it will enrich your collegiate experience. So our club sports model looks like this graph with some key elements that it's important to highlight. And the first is development leagues year-round. We compete during the fall and spring semesters. So that's quite different from NCAA. We have the luxury to have amazing facilities. So San Antonio is the perfect location for you to practice any sport because we have year-round perfect weather, and we also have the luxury to have Division One facilities. So that's a great incentive. There's no age restriction. We have qualified coaching staff, and we are pushing for academic and athletic scholarships at this level. Overall, we're looking for a holistic approach where you can improve not only as a player, but also as a person. And we go back to our first slide where sports, it's really a vehicle for you to improve as a student and as a person. We want to look for athletic education of excellence, and that's our main goal here at UAW. Under this format, we have an estimated 2 million student athletes competing in club sports. It works in a similar way as the NCAA, but under a different organization, and it's called NIRSA. As you can see in this little map over here, NIRSA divides the whole country in regions, where initially you will play at the conference level. In our case, UIW competes against universities like UTSA, UT Austin, Texas State, and a bunch of great schools, which makes our league very competitive. And once you win that conference, you fight for a spot to compete at the regional level. And then if you make it to the finals and win, you can compete at the national tournament with the best teams of each region. So it quite works the same as the NCAA. So what are some of the key differences between NCAA and club sports? And the first, I would say, is funding. At the NCAA level, you can compete for a spot and for a scholarship. We talked about that before. It's really hard to get a full ride, but scholarships are much higher than at the club level. Eligibility is also a big point, since at the NCAA level, you have to go through the NCAA Eligibility Center. You have to go through, it works kind of like a filter where they check on your academics and also on your athletic ability. They want to make sure you have not competed professionally in your country, etc. At the club sports level, this is more relaxed. Basically, once you're admitted, you're in, and it's a great way to combine athletics and education, being academics your main focus. NCAA athletes on average spend more than 40 hours a week devoted to their sport. So it's really high commitment. It requires a lot of hours, a lot of practice, a lot of commitment. On the club sports side, we're more flexible. We're talking about an average of 10 hours per week. So that gives you the opportunity to better handle your schedules and, again, keep the main focus on your academics. The UIW Club Sports offer is the following. We have both in male and female athletes, the opportunity to compete in soccer, basketball, volleyball, lacrosse, track and skeet, triathlon, which is gaining a lot of popularity. And we have the luxury to have amazing facilities, top facilities in the region. We have our sports complex, we have a weight room with everything that you can imagine. Benson Stadium will host soccer games, and it's a fantastic setup. We usually practice at night when it comes to soccer, so it's a nice turf field with the lights on, with a great atmosphere. And we also have a semi-Olympic pool. If you're interested in triathlon, that's a great option for you. We have great outdoors. It's a beautiful green campus, so running around, it's just a great experience. So again, I want to emphasize that we want to build a club sports powerhouse in San Antonio, and in order to achieve that, we have secured some key components, some key elements that are key for our success. And the first one is our professional and competitive environment. We want to make sure you have all the tools for you to improve as an athlete. In some team sports, we can guarantee playing time. So it's not the same to go to a Division One school, but maybe if you spend half of the time in the bench, your experience won't be as meaningful as if you are a key player, someone that put the team on their shoulder and have really an impact on his or her team. So it's important to keep that in mind. We have strength and conditioning coaches, athletic trainers. In case you get injured, we can treat you in our campus. We have also included leadership and personal development workshops, where we strive to complete community service projects. And overall, we want to create well-rounded student athletes. Cool, Isaac. I love this. What are the requirements? How can I enroll? Well, the first thing is to apply to the university and get accepted. In order to do that, and this will apply to most universities and colleges in the United States. So you'll need to apply online, and you can do it through applywave in our portal. We'll require your high school transcripts. This year, due to pandemic, we are not requiring SAT or ACT scores. These are for our Latin American students that maybe are not quite familiar with these terms. The SAT is like a knowledge test to see where you are at in math, sciences, etc. So we do not require a minimum score this year. That gives you access to up to $20,000 in academic scholarship. We're gonna talk about that in a minute, but the second major point is the proof of English proficiency. This year we're accepting Duolingo, and you'll only need a score of 105. We still accept TOEFL. That gives you, you will require a score of 79. If your English is not quite there yet, we have other options through our ESL program provided by UNAM San Antonio, where you can get conditionally admitted, and later on, once your English improves, you can jump in at our university programs. We also require a club sports evaluation, where we will assess your athletic skills and abilities. But again, we're not looking for the next Messi or Ronaldo. If you're into soccer, we just want to ensure we have committed athletes and really passionate students that will put this program into the next level. Very important, scholarships. We, as I said before, we offer academic scholarship. Freshmen can qualify up to $20,000 and transfer up to $15,000. These amounts will roll over year by year during your 4 years of education, provided that you keep your minimum GPA. Now, if you qualify for club sports and you pass our evaluation, you can receive an additional $2,000. So again, you get rewarded for the passion and commitment to the sport you love. And trust me, $2,000, it's great money for books, for meal plans. It really makes the difference. So in summary, UIW will be around $35K a year on tuition, and you can earn a great scholarship package once you add your academic component. If you come from a Catholic high school, we can give you another percentage of scholarship, and again, our club sports incentive for a maximum of $22,000. Okay, so if you achieve that maximum amount, it roughly gives you a difference of $13,000. This number does not include housing and meal plans. So keep that in mind. But hey, we're talking about almost a little over $1,000 a month if you want to divide it that way. I have some testimonials from great athletes. I used to coach the club soccer team, so These guys are not only fantastic students, but also great friends. And for example, Derek here says you can attend a practice knowing no one and live being friends with everyone. Club sports has that power of creating a support network for you as an international student to arrive already in a team and belong to something bigger than yourself, and having that support from your teammates. It's a fantastic tool for your academic success as well. Finally, I just want to share a couple clips from former club sports athletes.
So I really encourage you to join club sport. Either because this you can go check your interview for the men's club soccer team. Just want to find anyone who's soccer passionate to go join the team. This program is one of the classes that has to build up on our future. So once you come out, don't hesitate. It's a great experience and opportunity at the university. The Incarnate Word offers, and I want you to miss that.
Great. Good. So as you can tell, it's about the relationships. It's about the experience. It's all about the memories you will create during your college, during your time in college. And I just want to finish with this graph that pop up on my screen. I couldn't find this graph on the English version, but it basically says that an investment in knowledge will certainly always pay the best interest from Benjamin Franklin. So keep that in mind. I believe in the power of sports plus education. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll hang around on the platform. Send me a text on the system. And thank you to everybody on applywave for their support. Yes?
Thank you. Very, very good. Thank you so much. We actually have one question. Ramon is asking, what does the club sports evaluation form require?
Yeah, it will require a video of you playing. If soccer is your sport, we want to see something similar to what I showed during the presentation. But we also want to make sure you have other interests like leadership skills. Are you part of another team? Are you involved with community service? Things like that we want to know, because it's a good element for us to get to know you better. And it's a quite simple form. It will take you 10 to 15 minutes to fill out, but it really helps us, the coaches, to evaluate your skills.
Perfect, thank you. And Isaac, for when students want to reach out to you, you speak Spanish as well, correct?
Correct. Yes, feel free to text me in Spanish. It'll make my job easier, for sure.
And easier for the students too, some students, I'm sure. All right, I think that's it for the questions. If anyone wants to reach out to talk about sports or University of the Incarnate Word, please message Isaac in English or in Spanish. And thank you so much.
No problem. It was my pleasure. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.